So this video was meant to be on Harry Potter today, but unfortunately LEGO decided, hey, I'm going to release all my pictures of this Marvel CMF. So I figured we'd talk about them today, as I've got a few things to say about them. Now everybody knows here that I am not one for news, and in fact I hate talking about the news, but this is one of those situations where I feel like I need to talk about it, and just give you a little bit of explanation on why I've called this video what I've called this video. First off, I want to say that all of these figures are amazing figures, and I can't wait to buy all of them and do a review on them on pretty much day one. And we'll go through the pictures in a minute, but what I do want to say is the concept of a Marvel CMF is a really good idea, and I'm unsure whether they've released these pictures because of the fact that they all just pretty much leaked, so LEGO were like, screw it, just release all the pictures, or whether they got full-on permission from Marvel to release them on the date they released them, considering that Marvel's What If series isn't actually out yet. I think it would have made more sense to release the full pictures of the CMF when the Marvel What If series had at least been halfway through, and we would have got a lot more context to who these characters actually are. I know a lot of the trailers have come out so far, but we don't have any connections to these Marvel What If characters, and considering that they're actually a pretty large sum of this CMF, I would have liked to learn a little bit more about them before I have to go ahead and spend a lot of money on buying all their figures. In fact, the thing I have the most problem with, and the reason this video is called what this video is called, is because of the fact that they are doing it across the split multiverse. I don't know if it's just to try and get more people into watching these separate Marvel shows, but all of these figures are taken from some form of Disney Plus show. And if this is what it took to get a Marvel CMF to happen, then I'm all down for it. But the main problem I have is that most Marvel figures tend to be very lackluster in terms of printing. Obviously, there are some exceptions to this rule, but most of the figures, especially in things like the Infinity Saga wave, really do lack some of the printing that I really wish some of these figures had. Stuff like Captain America's legs, Black Panther's legs, and Iron Man arm printing. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that I wish these figures had this printing in their dedicated sets, even though it would have been really nice to. What I am saying is I wish we could have got a CMF series based on the full MCU rather than just the What If or the Disney Plus shows. And I really do believe this would open the door into more people collecting LEGO Marvel, considering how good these Marvel figures look. But hey, it's like I say, if we had to have this series first to get potentially another series in the future, then I'm all down for it, and I can't wait to review these figures in the future. Speaking of which, let's go quickly through these figures one by one, and I'll just give you my general opinions on all of the characters before we get into a full-on review when I can buy them September 1st. Now, we're starting off with the WandaVision figures. Now, WandaVision was actually one of my favorite Disney Plus shows, considering I hated it at the beginning and it had to go through multiple rewrites because of COVID. I actually ended up really enjoying the show towards the end half of it. But taking a look at our first character, it's the Monica Rambeau figure. Now, I believe this has a new hairpiece, and might I just say that this is a fantastic figure to give arm printing to. One that I really didn't think needed leg printing, finally just didn't get leg printing. But LEGO still went the extra mile and gave her those shoulder pads, which I definitely feel will come in handy for more figures in the future. I also really like the fact that the torso doesn't have any sort of skin color at the top of the torso, and you see that actually with most of these figures, which I'm really happy about, meaning that you can make other sword agents just using this torso. I don't know if there were any other people in this outfit, but you can make other female sword outfits. Yeah, it would have been nice to get a male version as well, but I'm happy with this character, and again, going to be great for the collection. I also really feel like this new hairpiece is going to be great for giving it to other minifigures, as well as that face print. Moving on to WandaVision. Now, I actually really like this figure, but it is a classic example of LEGO using concept art over what is actually in the show, and I think a lot of people have obviously pointed this out, and I'm not going to be another person that just goes, this figure is bad because it's based on concept art. This figure is a fantastic figure. I really like the side leg printing, I really like the arm printing, and it's one of those figures which I really think deserves it, and I hope they do a normal version of Vision in this same style, because I really do feel like he deserves the arm and leg printing. The only issue is I don't know if we're going to stick with WandaVision going forward in the MCU, or whether he'll go back to his original colors. And if he does go back to his original colors, they'll probably just use the one that we've had before, which is really annoying because then it won't have the arm or leg printing. I also find the laptop being a strange inclusion because of the way that it's built. I like the way that it's built, I just didn't expect it to be made of a book piece, or rather a laptop piece, considering they have those pieces out there. But still, a great piece I think would look really good in something like a Hall of Armor if you're going to go down that route. And I can't tell from this picture, but I'm not sure if his cape is a spongy cape or one of the rigid capes. I really hope they're the spongy ones. I think they tend to work better for play and just drooping over the figure a bit better. And I think it'd be nice to get some more spongy capes in different colors. Now moving on to Scarlet Witch. Now this is definitely either one of the best figures we've ever seen or a second place to that Wanda in the airport set, and it's nice to see that Marvel and Lego finally giving Wanda the place that she deserves. I really do like the new hairpiece with the crown on there, even though I wish it did come with another hairpiece so you could take that crown off without me having to buy another hairpiece. I really do like the torso and leg printing. Finally, leg printing on a Wanda figure. I do really wish it came with the skirt cloth piece that Lego have been doing for things like that Civil War airport scene Wanda. Just would have been good to get it just because I can put it on my other Wanda figures, and it would have looked really good on this Wanda as well. The one problem I have with this Wanda figure, and it tends to be the same with other Wanda figures as well, is they just can't seem to get that face print correct. Even though I believe this is a new face print and it's not one taken from other sets, I really don't think that smile works for this Wanda. I think it would have been better to just give her a more neutral look, especially because on the other side is the red eyes and the angry. This side shouldn't really have a smile based on the scene that it was put into. But hey, I'm sure I can find another head that works better in my spare figure if I ever do plan on putting this into other mocks. Oh, this video is getting long. We've only talked about 3 figures. Okay, I need to speed this up. Let's go. Moving on to Falcon and Winter Soldier. We're going to talk about Bucky Barnes first because I want to save Sam for later. I really do like this figure. I think it's a really good inclusion to include 2 knives and the shield. It's a really nice way of getting 2 shields considering you'll probably be buying the Captain America figure as well. I'm really glad that Marvel are going full on with these figures, and it does remind me of the Captain America Winter Soldier figure that we saw a while ago with the one printed arm. In terms of the leg printing, I really like that it's got the leg printing, but I can't really see many uses for other figures that this might go on, but that's not really the point. The face print looks amazing. I don't know if it's new or not. You guys will have to let me know in the comment section, but overall this is a great figure and I can't wait to pick it up. Now I'm glad we did that one relatively quickly because I need to talk about this figure. Now from the leaks, I wasn't thinking that this figure was all that, but I really do like this figure. I think it's probably one of the best figures in this entire bunch. Not only is the torso print perfect, it's also got leg printing with dual molded legs, side leg printing, and dual molded and printed arms. It's insane the amount of detail that they've put into this figure, and that's not even talking about the best bit. They finally came up with a compromise at LEGO to do brick built and molded wings, and I think this is honestly the best solution. Yeah, it still looks a bit strange with those gaps, but it still allows that posability that LEGO clearly wanted without losing the such good look that molded wings provide. Like I say, I think this might be one of the best figures out of this entire bunch, and I can't wait to get multiple of him just so I can put him in some form of mock. I can't wait to see where this figure goes in the future. In terms of the MCU, I really hope they do continue using this suit, because if they do, then it will just skyrocket in price after this CMF is done. Okay, moving on to Loki. Now, Loki is actually one of the best shows, in my opinion, in terms of the MCU Disney Plus show lineup thing, just because it actually felt like it had some outcome to the wider MCU universe, whereas the other shows didn't, and I know why, and I'm not going to get into that. I'll save that for a review of those shows later on down the line. But in terms of this figure, I cannot wait to use this in other figures. This variant top, I'm really looking forward to seeing the back of it, considering I don't think we have yet. But it looks perfect. I know some other companies have made this variant jacket torso, but I do reckon it's going to be really nice on the back. And finally, we're getting that serious black hairpiece in other colors. I really do like the new face print for Loki. I think it looks much more accurate than something like we saw in the 2012 sets, considering this is meant to be the same Loki. And I'm really happy that we've got leg printing on a character that really didn't need leg printing at all. It just goes to show that really LEGO do put a lot of money into their CMFs, and they do save a lot of print allocation specifically for CMFs, and this is the best way of getting LEGO minifigures to be as detailed as possible. So I'm glad with something like a Marvel CMF, they're actually pulling out all the stops. I also can't wait to use these legs on a 10th Doctor figure that will be coming soon. As for his accessory, we're talking about Throg. Now, I'm really annoyed actually about Throg, because it just goes to show that they could have easily done a baby rocket, considering the Thor's hammer in Throg's hand is, you know, insane, and it's clearly a new mold to give it that hammer. So I'm hoping if we do get a Groot figure in the future, potentially he'll come with a baby rocket as an accessory. This opens up so many possibilities, and it's the exact same with Sylvie. Speaking of which, I really like the Sylvie figure. I really think that hairpiece does make her look exactly like the actor who played her. The only issue I have with this minifigure is those horns. They look incredibly good, but I don't think they're removable, which means that if you don't want those horns on this figure and you want to make it look like how she does throughout most of the show, they're probably attached to the hairpiece, and unfortunately you can't get that hairpiece without those horns. so you're kind of in a stuck situation. Do I change the hairpiece and make it look less like the actor, or do I keep the horns on, which he didn't have for most of the show? Frankly, I would have loved to see another hairpiece included with this figure instead of the crocodile without the horns on, because in that way we would have got two hairpieces, one with the horns and without the horns, and maybe a green coat from the first episode. Also, speaking of which, I thought this figure was meant to come with a cape. Throughout all of the leaks, they were saying that this is going to come with the same cape that the Reaper from Overwatch had, and I thought this cape would do a really good job on this figure, but from all of the promotional things I've seen from LEGO, none of the images of Sylvie have this cape.
I have several questions.
Now, the rest are all based on What If. Now, obviously, I haven't seen What If yet, and obviously this video is getting crazy long, so I'm going to try and really speed this up now and just give my general opinions. But obviously I can't relate these to the episodes as they've not come out at the time of this video. Zombie Captain America, really cool figure. I'm really glad that this comes with a really nice broken shield, and this is a shield that I'm going to be giving my endgame Captain America figure almost immediately. I think I'm one of these people that really likes this figure and also hates it at the same time. I really like the fact that we're getting a really nice zombie Captain America figure that probably looks very accurate to the What If series. I'm also just annoyed that we are finally getting a Captain America with leg printing and arm printing, but it has to be a zombie variant and it can't be a just normal Captain America with leg and with arm printing that I feel like we've needed since 2012. Considering even the latest Infinity Saga sets still don't even give him leg printing, or even dual molded legs for that matter. That might be where Peggy Carter comes in. Now, Peggy Carter's fig is amazing looking. I'm really happy with the way that this figure looks. Not only does it look incredibly like the actor that plays Peggy Carter, it also comes with a new hairpiece, it comes with a Tesseract, and a brand new printed shield. Not only that, but the Captain Britain figure could be taken apart and used on a Captain America figure, and that is exactly what I plan to do with a lot of my Captain America figures. I plan on buying a lot of these Peggy Carter minifigures just to take their legs and take the arms off and stick on my Captain America, because then I have a fully printed Captain America figure with side printing and leg printing. But that's not the only thing I have to say about this figure. Obviously, we have this figure in another LEGO set. Now, I'm unsure if this is meant to be the same suit as What If hasn't come out yet, but it does look to be a different suit. But even then, the lack of leg printing and even the lack of hairpiece that they've clearly designed for this Peggy Carter character really does make this figure from the actual set look frankly like a knockoff of the figure that it's actually meant to be. And it just goes to show that you can get a better figure for £3.50 than you can in a $40 set. And I actually have a full video about this whole concept coming out very soon, so if you're interested in that video, make sure you're pressing that subscribe button. Frankly, this Peggy Carter figure from the CMF is actually the one I have the most love-hate relationship with, because it just goes to show that you can do a very good job when it comes to Marvel figures, and LEGO just choose not to do so. I don't think it's a case of it being an accident. It's definitely a decision that LEGO is making behind the scenes, because they think about everything in terms of these sets. And I don't understand how this figure is acceptable when you have this figure coming out just around the corner. Now, I'm not saying I want the same figure included in the set, but what I am saying is I wish this figure at least just had the same hairpiece to create consistency. Now, moving on to Gamora, I really wish they had given her some form of Ninjago armor piece or something along those lines, meaning that she didn't have any printing on her arms. I really feel like this is one of those figures that didn't need printing on the arms, and it also meant that we could have made other Gamora figures using those dual molded arms, and now we can't use those arms because they have printing on them. I know that's not what LEGO's thinking about when they make things like this CMF, but still, it would be nice to actually use them without having to take printing off or anything like that on our other figures. Other than that issue, I really do like the rest of the Gamora figure. I think it's really awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of people have problems with her weapon, but I frankly don't see it as a massive problem. I just wish they had used the Monkey Kid hilt piece instead of the lightsaber hilt piece. A modification I do plan to make when I get these figures. Moving on to Black Panther Star-Lord, I don't know his official name yet, but you know, that's what I'm going to call him for now. Again, I really like this figure, comes with a really nice torso print, another functional piece that I see being incorporated into LEGO Cities. But the main draw for me on this figure is those legs. I feel like these legs can be put on other Star-Lord figures and really make them look better, considering they have side leg printing with the little jet boosters on them. I really think this is going to improve other Star-Lord figures. And again, it looks to be a new hairpiece. It looks to be different from the Captain America hairpiece as well. I don't think it's the same one. Really nice to see a lot of new hairpieces coming out of this CMF. And last but not least, we have the Spider-Man figure. Now, this Spider-Man figure is a bit of a weird one, considering, to me at least, it looks more like the Civil War suit than the Civil War suit that came out back way when. I don't necessarily think that it's based on that Civil War suit. It definitely does look more like the theme park ride one and the one from the Doctor Strange What If episode, but I do think when you take the cape piece off, it's going to be a really good Spider-Man figure to put in other sets. I also really like the fact that it has side leg printing and arm printing. I'm definitely going to be comparing this to the Civil War fig when I get it in hand. Not knowing if this is a Tom Holland version of the head that comes with it, but there definitely is an accessory that looks a lot like Tom Holland. I don't necessarily know if it's Tom Holland's Spider-Man that is in the What If episode, because every image I've seen of the What If episode definitely doesn't look necessarily like Tom Holland. But this Lego figure definitely does give that Tom Holland look, a new face print that I will definitely be stealing for my Peter Parker figures. But that's the entire CMF and my general opinions on what I think they are like and which ones I'm going to be buying. But that's all I have time for today, guys, and this has been an incredibly long video, so I thank you if you got to the end, and I will speak to you guys in the next one. Goodbye.